Don't let that fool you, though.
No, definitely.
All right, number 1. Can you read that okay, or do you need me to blow it up some?
I could read that, yeah.
All right.
Alright. Um, okay. Um, k is equal to 3. Yeah.
So what's the first thing you would do?
Well, since, like, if x minus 1 over 3 is equal to k, and then else says k is equal to 3,
It's a good first step.
plug in 3.
Yeah, plug in 3 for k.
Mm-hmm.
And now solve that equation. In other
Okay.
words, always be thinking in terms of equations. Whether it's algebra or geometry, it doesn't matter. If
Okay.
you can get an equation with only one variable, you can solve it.
Right.
Well, we got this now. We got only one variable. So let's help me solve this.
Alright, so it'd be minus 1 x over 3 is equal to 3. So, would the 3's cancel out? No.
No, how do you get rid of it? In other words, you're trying to isolate that, right?
Right.
That's always what you're trying to do when you're solving an equation, is isolate a variable.
Okay.
Well, I got to get rid of the 3 that's the denominator, that's
Mm-hmm.
currently dividing. So what do I got to do to get rid of it?
Yeah, multiply.
Okay.
So what you do,
Multiply
same
both
switch.
sides by 3.
Yeah.
And now that cancels with that, and I'm left with what on the left?
2.
No? What do you
Or
see?
because, or you plus 1, my bad, so it'd be 4.
X minus 1
Mm-hmm. Is equal to 3.
is equal to 9.
Or, yeah, I forgot to multiply. That's, yeah.
Okay? In other words, you got to multiply these 3's, but more importantly, over here on the left, the reason I multiplied both sides by 3 was so that I could cancel that denominator.
Right, and you want to do the opposite since
And
it's
what
division.
that leaves is everything that's left,
Right.
which is
So
x
it'd be,
minus 1. Okay, now
yeah.
what?
So it'd be x is equal to 10.
All right. Number 2.
Okay.
And have you gotten to complex numbers? You have, haven't you?
We have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought so. Okay.
Yeah.
Even if you had not, you should be able to do this problem
Uh-huh.
without knowing anything about complex numbers.
Yeah, it doesn't look too hard. So, it'd be minus 1 plus 12i.
Correct, which is answer A.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or no, because it says I is equal to negative 1.
Yeah, but
So
the
would it
key
be like,
part is that when you're adding complex numbers or subtracting, is all you do is add the reals and then add the complex, the imaginary.
oh, that's, okay.
That's all you do.
So,
So you added, you did 7 minus 8, which gives you the minus 1.
yeah, and then
You
plus,
3i plus 9i.
okay.
So adding and subtracting complex numbers is really easy.
It
Multiplying is
is.
easy. So all you
It
need to
is.
do,
Stop.
well, you're not going to get a lot of complex numbers on this test.
Mm-mm.
This is
No.
the upper limit of the math
Okay.
you have to worry about. How about number 3?
Okay. And would it just be 5m plus 4p?
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Number 4.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me just blow that up a hair. It's got to be a little tough to read there. That should make
Yeah,
it
no,
better.
no worries. Um, let's see. Kathy Sarti Trick with 108 phones to fix.
Good.
Cool.
Number 5 on the left.
Okay.
You can, if you want, get yourself a pencil and paper if you need to do this. You know what? You probably don't need to use a pencil and paper to do this.
No, I don't
The way
think
to
so.
do this problem is we've got an x squared y. How many x squared y's do we have in the whole expression? Just combine them. And then do it term by term like that.
Yeah.
So how many x squared y's do we have in total?
We have, yeah, just 2.
Okay, so we know our answer is either C or D.
Right.
Okay, now the next thing we see is a minus 3y squared. Well, how many y squareds do we have in total?
3.
Well, look through the whole expression, see if you can find anything that's just y squared with a coefficient in front of it.
Yeah, just 2.
Okay, combine them. What do you get?
Minus 9y to the 4th.
No.
Or to the squared, just squared.
No.
Or minus 6y, my bad.
No.
Squared.
You start with minus 3y squared. That's this term on the left.
Oh, there's a minus. I thought it was
minus a minus.
Right, which is positive. So they'd cancel out.
Equal to what?
0. So
there is no y squared in the answer.
No, so it has to be C.
Now I know that C is the correct answer without doing any more work.
Yeah.
And that's an important thing to realize when you're taking these tests, is that you're not out to show your math abilities to anybody.
No.
What you're out to do is get the answer. And it's a speed test. There's 60 problems in 60 minutes, so you get approximately 1 minute per question. And on the easy questions, you want to be able to do those in like 15 to 30 seconds so that you have extra time on the harder questions.
Yeah, definitely.
So a lot of the success in taking these tests is looking at the answers. In other words, don't just plow into the algebra. I know that if this was not multiple choice, you'd be able to come up with the answer. I feel confident that you could.
Yeah.
Having multiple choice is helpful. Because the moment we realized that we had 2 x squared y's, we knew the answer had to be C or D.
And it's just process of elimination.
Well, and then we don't have any y squareds. They canceled one another out, so it can't be D.
No.
So there's only one thing left, C, and that's without even figuring out how many x, y squareds there are. Well, there's 5 there, and there's negative 3 over here. So that's why there's 2, but we didn't even need to go that far. In other words, they have structured this question so that the smarter people are going to get it quicker than those who aren't so smart. They've given them a speed advantage by only putting one answer on there that could possibly be correct without you having to finish the problem.
Right. Yeah.
Number 6.
Number 6. Set the height of a point in inches. What is estimated increase in inches?
Some of these can seem complicated, but they're really not. If you think about it, don't get caught up in the length of the paragraph or all those variables you see. Notice what they're saying. The height of anybody is based on their age, based on this formula.
Right.
In other words, if you're 10 years old, between the ages of 2 and 5. So if you're 5, your height's going to be 15 plus 28 inches. 44 inches. So looking at that formula, h equal 3a plus 28.6, what do you suppose the average increase is per year? It's It's the slope.
Well, yeah,
What's the
right.
slope of that?
3/1.
Correct. The answer
So
is
it'd be A.
uh-huh.
Yeah. Cool.
And that's generally what slope means, is the average change. A is in years, so that's going to be your average change per year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, have a look at 7. I love 7. 7 is a cool problem.
So, yeah. Looks complicated, but
That's why it's so cool, because it's not complicated. It is one of the easiest problems there is.
is it really?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And that should be a clue.
Mm-hmm.
Notice what you're looking at. It's asking you to solve for P. Okay? So if I told you that M equals, I'll call it A divided by B times P, how would you solve for P?
You'd set P equal to,
Well, what would you do? How would you?
oh, you'd multiply it by both sides.
By?
By P.
No. If you're trying to solve this equation, over here on the right, if I'm trying to solve for that, I got to isolate it. Well, how do I get rid of the A and the B?
Well, you just do the same search flip, right? Like, you multiply the,
Well, you multiply by B and you divide by A, right?
uh-huh.
In other words, if I multiply by B and divide by A, and I have to do it to both sides,
Right.
then the A's cancel and the B's cancel, and I'm left with P.
Oh,
So
that
P
makes
would
sense.
be B over A times M.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Is equal to
As
P.
simple as that. Now,
Yeah.
let's look at what we have here. We have M equals this extremely complicated numerator divided by this extremely complicated denominator times P.
Right.
So do this process and see if there's an answer down there that looks like we've multiplied by the denominator and divided by the numerator. Is there an answer?
Um, it'd be, no. Yeah, it'd be D,
B.
right?
B is
Oh,
in
it'd be B.
boy. Notice what B
Oh,
is.
B.
B, they have multiplied by the denominator and they have divided by the numerator.
Oh, that is easy.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not, in other words, they're trying to fool you with all of this, telling you what P is, what R is, what M is, what N is. We don't care.
Uh-huh.
None of that matters. You could eliminate this paragraph and the answer is still going to be the same. You don't need any of that information in the paragraph. Because all you're looking at is M equals, and okay, it's a little more complicated than I said. It's actually A times C divided by B all times P. Okay? So the goal is you still have to get rid of that. And you get rid of that by multiplying both sides by B over AC.
Okay. So that's just the opposite. You're multiplying, or you're just switching the numerator and the
Well,
denominator.
it has
Basically.
everything to do with how you solve an equation, Dylan. And boy, we need to talk about this because you really can't go anywhere in math unless you know how to do this.
Right. Okay.
Okay, let me put some numbers in here. If you solve that for P, what's your first step going to be?
First off, well, yes, I'm sorry. So you just what you do at the
Your
top.
first step. Let's do it one step at a time.
Multiply by 5
Okay.
on both sides.
Yep. That gives you this.
Mm-hmm.
Now what's your next step?
And then it would be 5 over 12p.
Yes.
Or
Well,
m is equal to
step's
5
going to be
over.
to divide both sides by 3 times 4.
Yeah.
That gets rid of that.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
I did it in 2 steps, okay? But you can do it in 1 step. Notice what this is all it is the denominator is now in the numerator and the numerator is now in the denominator.
Right, it's just switching it.
Yeah. So whenever you have a situation like m equals 3/5 p, and you want to solve that for p, multiply by the reciprocal,
Okay.
both sides, because
Okay.
that gets rid of that, and that all in 1 step, and then you're left with p.
Okay.
Always remember the goal, whenever you're solving for a variable in an equation, the goal is to isolate it. In other words, you got to get rid of everything that's acting upon it. If you have numbers that are multiplying it, you got to divide by that. If you have numbers that are dividing it, you got to multiply by that. If you have it squared, you got to take the square root. In other words, you got to get rid of all attachments. If I got a p plus 6, then I got to subtract 6. All right.
That makes sense. All right. It's pretty basic. Like,
Very
I
basic.
thought it was a lot harder than that, but not really.
But that's why this is such a clever problem, is because, I mean, you could spend 5 minutes on this problem, and I guarantee you that there are students that will spend 5 minutes on this problem. In fact,
Just
you might
way
even
over
have students that would try to multiply these two numbers together. Take 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And none of that's necessary if you understand how to solve a basic equation.
Okay.
And how, notice the p is next to that really complicated looking thing there.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Awesome.
Let's see. We got time for at least one more here.
Yeah.
So we got a over b equals 2. What is the value of 4b over a?
So it would be 8 over 2, which is 4. So it'd be D.
Good.
Cool.
Hold on.
Well,
How'd you do that?
well would it actually be... Because, like, it says 8 over B is 2, so you just exchanged A and B with 2.
No. If a over b equals 2, you can't solve for a or b. It could be anything. It could be 4 over 2. It could be 8 over 4. It could be 12 over 6. 12 over 6. In other words, that doesn't tell you much, but it tells you enough to let you figure out what 4b over a is. First of all, if a over b is 2, what does b over a equal to?
Would B be equal to -2?
Right? You cannot solve for b or a.
No.
Only thing you can solve for are these relationships.
B over A is equal to A over B?
No. Ever. Unless they're both 1. If a over b equals 2, then b over a is the reciprocal, 1/2.
Oh, just, okay, yeah.
Just the reciprocal, that easy.
That makes sense, okay.
Now, if b over a equals 1/2, what is 4 times b over a equal to?
2?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the answer.
Cool.
That's a good place to stop.
Yeah, that's a good problem.
9 won't give you any problems. That's just a system of equation that we can solve by substitution or elimination.
I've done plenty of those. I feel like I understand those.
I know you have. And I know you're pretty good on those. So that's where we'll pick up next time we need something to work on.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay?
Awesome.
Hey, Dylan, I will talk to you on Wednesday. If you feel like you need a session tomorrow night, it's possible I could get a cancellation. Although,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's up to you. If you want to check back sometime tomorrow and see if I got a cancellation, if you're really
Oh,
desperate for a session tomorrow night.
okay.
But
Yeah,
regardless, I'll talk to you Wednesday at 8.
that sounds good. And oh yeah, you see Jake Ziegler. Man, I haven't seen that kid in so long. We
I,
used to be on the same baseball team
well,
when
he
I
doesn't go
was
to your school anymore, does he? No, he goes,
I don't
I think he
think
goes to
so, does he?
Mullen.
Does he get a Mullen
I
now?
believe he goes to
Yeah,
Mullen. Yeah, yeah.
because I feel like he was at Chatfield last year, and then
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. He certainly lives in the valley.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but
Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen that kid since I was like 8 years old.
huh,
That was lost.
well,
Yeah,
well,
crazy to think. Yeah,
it's a small world, isn't it?
it is, man. That's awesome.
Okay.
Uh,
I'll talk to you
Makes me
on Wednesday at 8.
sounds good. See you then.
All right, Dylan. Bye-bye.